Andy Austin here with a little rant from the attic about NLP practitioners, EFT practitioners, alphabet therapists generally, across the whole board, especially life coaches. They're the worst. Coronavirus. About a year ago, or just over a year ago, when Corona was becoming the big thing, because it wasn't too obvious at first what was happening, there was an explosion on social media and especially on YouTube of absolute experts on everything to do with immunology and virology. What made them experts? NLP training, EFT training, life coaches. They knew everything there was to know. They were instant experts. We saw people showing you how their tapping technique, their swishing technique, their coaching thing would raise the immune system. It would raise the immunity and you could fight off the virus. You see, you only get ill not because of a global pandemic. You get ill because your immune system isn't raised enough by your positive thinking, by your faith and belief in the process. You only get ill because of the way you think. No one ever dies of actual illness. No one dies of disease. No one ever gets sick. They merely suffer the consequences of an unfit mindset. If they just booked on a training course, if they just read the latest blog post, only if they started to believe, hallelujah, they would be saved, because those magic T cells, those white cell counts, all the things of the immune system I don't understand would suddenly rise up and save you from the growing pandemic. At the time, I think it was less than 0.4% of the world's population had actually had any first-hand experience. So the majority of people, including NLPers, EFTers, and all the other alphabet therapists, had no first-hand experience, either directly of themselves or with anyone they knew. This disease, this pandemic, this disaster was always happening somewhere else and not happening in any part of their experience. So they could take on a very naive position, which was, well, you know, it's okay, we can fix this. I'm a life coach. And so they could make YouTube videos and blog posts and social media posts telling people how, you know, their proven technique could. And then we started to see people saying things like, well, I never get ill because when I get a cold, I just use NLP, tapping, alphabet therapy, whatever it is, and I get rid of it in 24 hours. Oh, really? Really? But it doesn't stop them getting it in the first place, you may have recognized. And so what we had was this new pandemic of therapists and coaches and alphabet therapists taking on a new motif, which was this: fear is the real virus. Fear is the real virus, really. And then, as far as the world's life coaches and therapists were concerned, there was a pandemic of fear. And so the internet was flooded with videos on how to deal with coronavirus anxiety. Type that into YouTube. Have a look. Just see how many videos there are of how to deal with coronavirus anxiety. Who were all these anxious people? Where were all these anxious people? The only people I saw who seemed to have any idea there was an anxiety pandemic was therapists all over the internet, predicting that everyone was suffering from anxiety. Now, here was the thing. By being anxious, being fearful, it lowers your immune system. And so, fear is the real virus, because by getting anxious, by being worried, by having panic, by having fear, you will get the virus, because without fear, your immune system is strong. And with that strength, you will not get ill. And the videos kept coming. And the videos kept coming. I put up some fairly acidic blog posts about this at the time, copped a fair bit of flack for it, and a whole bunch of accusations. The things I've gotten up to that I didn't even know about. The links to those blog posts are in the description. Quite magnificent. The things I found myself being accused of. Absolutely amazing. Now, over a year later, the 0.4% of the population is a slightly bigger percentage. And now these instant virology experts, these instant immunology experts, because they've got alphabet therapy training, they're going down with coronavirus. And here's the thing, no one's ever suffered as much as they have. It's almost like when a life coach, NLP or alphabet therapist gets ill, The default position is they would die if they didn't have their skill set. If they weren't trained in their alphabet therapy, they'd be dead by now. And weirdly, as they're living out the celebrity suffering on their social media on a daily basis, no one suffered as much as they have. They're congratulated by other alphabet therapists, life coaches, NLPers, and all the rest, how heroically they are battling, and how they, by their positive thinking and their fantastic outlook, they're able to overcome this disease. Really? I thought you had these skill sets that raised your immune system and you didn't get it in the first place. But now you're living out your suffering every single day because no one suffered as much as you have if you're that person. Absolutely preposterous. And the thing is I see here is the level of narcissism. There are narcissists at one end being the expert that can save the planet with a moral superiority, and now they're a victim who is also still morally superior, which is the classic narcissistic position. Now, I don't know whether these therapies, life coaching models, and all the rest of it attract the narcissistic individual, or whether it does something to people and turn them into these complete idiots. I shan't swear, it affects the advertising revenue on my YouTube channel. But anyway, that was just my little rant. I just wanted to get out of the way because some of you will know I still have a whole bunch of health issues from COVID from over a year ago. It was actually Easter last year that I went down with COVID, and I am still suffering the aftermath of that. But what just I find so fantastic is how short their memories are of the people at the time. I mean, one guy, I won't name you, put it down to me having had the flu vaccination recently. I didn't have COVID. No, because there isn't COVID that isn't real. No, it's not real. This is the consequence of the flu vaccine. Really? Really? Well, said person now has COVID. Oh, it's funny that their memory's so short. I was so desperately... Laura said I'd be in big trouble if I did. Did you have the flu vaccination? The idiocy that is being demonstrated by this pandemic is absolutely astonishing, and the narcissism that comes spilling out is extraordinary. Just type into YouTube coronavirus anxiety or COVID anxiety and see just how many videos there are. That's all. I'm going to stop ranting now. Have a good day.